news. Americans have crossed the threshold today, electing the nation's first African-American president.
It's a day that many who lived through the civil rights era said they thought they'd never see in their lifetime. Eugene Robinson is a columnist with the Washington Post and an MSNBC analyst. What does this day bring, both in terms of achievement and responsibility?
That's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
It really, I've been wrestling with this all morning, trying to write a column for tomorrow. It is a moment I never thought I would see. Last night, talking to John Lewis, having the opportunity to talk to him and remembering what had happened to him during the civil rights movement, still has the scars of the beating he got on the Edmund Pettus Bridge and the march from Selma to Montgomery. It's an amazing achievement for Barack Obama. It's an amazing moment for African Americans. With it does come a responsibility in a way. I mean, and I think it's not as if Black Americans haven't been a part of the fabric of this nation since before it was a nation, helping to build the country into what it is. It's not as if we needed recognition or acceptance from anybody, but it kind of is, in a way. I mean, it kind of feels like that sort of gesture. And I think it's hard for me not to look at the country in a different light this morning and to just feel all warm and fuzzy about the country.
Does it lessen your fears about there being real differences between people of different color? Does it make you feel more confident that moving forward we all can find common ground?
It makes me feel we have come an enormous distance. I just think how far we have come in my lifetime. I went to segregated schools when I was a kid in the South. Think of my father's lifetime. He's 92. He was in the segregated army in World War II, and you know,
I have to break in and tell you this now. We just heard at this point that Rahm Emanuel will be Barack Obama's chief of staff. We've received confirmation at this point. What's your reaction to that?
I think that's very smart by Barack Obama. Rahm Emanuel is kind of a quintessential chief of staff kind of Washington figure. He's tough. He's really smart. He knows everybody. He's well connected. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. He will do what a chief of staff is supposed to do, which is control access to the president, organize ideas and material and people for the president. I think he will make a White House run well. It's exciting to get a transition underway so quickly.
Yeah. How much of this do you think has to do with timing? You know, that America was ready, and at the same time, you know, the Republicans gave sort of the perfect opening, and you know, there was the economy. And how much of it do you think, if you had to balance, has to do with the actual man? I mean, obviously both are enormous.
Right, both are important. You know, my theory of firsts is that they happen when they happen. You can never say, aha, the ground is perfectly prepared for this historic first to take place. Clearly, both had to be true. The situation, the moment, we had to have had the civil rights movement and all the progress since that allowed Barack Obama and Michelle Obama to go to Ivy League schools and to go to Harvard Law School and to be prepared to take on this responsibility. And I think it had to be Barack Obama. It had to be this guy who seems to have this preternatural calm, this ability to look at detail and the big picture, not to be ruffled. I wish I had more of that.
Eugene, I have to say, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy that so many people, I'm happy for me.
Yeah, be happy for you. Don't just be happy for me. Be happy for everybody.
That for whatever your politics are, that we've come to this moment in our history.
Exactly, and I think we should let's take at least a day to recognize that. And then tomorrow, guess what? I'm a journalist, and my job is to hold Barack Obama's feet to the fire the same way I did with George W. Bush.
And I have no doubt you will.
But tomorrow.
Yes. All right. Eugene Robinson, thanks so much.
All right, so we just got the news now that a senior Obama advisor has confirmed Rahm Emanuel has accepted the position of chief of staff for Barack Obama. We'll have more on that.
For African Americans across the country, including the Reverend Jesse Jackson. He was celebrating Obama's victory in Chicago's Grant Park last night and was visibly moved when the news was announced. You can see the tears streaming down his face. Eugene Robinson, columnist with the Washington Post and an MSNBC analyst, joins us now. I was really struck when I saw Jesse Jackson there crying watching this. He seemed so joyful.
Yeah, it was an amazing moment, actually. I was just working on a column for tomorrow. That image of Jesse Jackson, it made me think back to how young he was in 1968 on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. You know, you think of Jesse Jackson as the older Jesse Jackson with all the brio and the bravado, and you don't think of the young civil rights activist who I think we saw last night.
And Barack Obama's victory is not just racial, it's generational in many ways. Yeah.
It is generational, and I think you know, I think that the tendency, at least coming from where I'm coming from, we all take things personally, and I think there's a special kind of resonance for African Americans. I think this is a day that the country really ought to reflect on in terms of how far we've come from where we started. And we also ought to look at the generational handoff that seems to have taken place yesterday. The fact that Barack Obama, right, he doesn't remember the civil rights movement. He is not, as he frequently reminds us, still embroiled in the battles of the 1960s. He was too young to get caught up in any of that. Vietnam, to him, is the way, you know, many of us think of World War II or something like that, something in kind of ancient history.
And two other interesting things I thought, too. I mean, he won the popular vote 52 to 46. That is the first time since LBJ that a Democrat has gotten over 51%. Does he have a mandate?
I think that is a mandate. You have to say that's a mandate. And I'd look not just at that popular vote total, but look at how that blue is spreading down the map, especially spreading down the East Coast into the South, into Virginia. He may yet win North Carolina, got Florida back. And
the West,
and
the changing West,
in the Mountain West. You know, if you're a Republican and you look at that map, you say we have work to do. We have a lot of work to do, and frankly, there's a danger of a kind of generational party shift in which the Republicans kind of lose the hold they had on the Latino vote, which was very instrumental in Barack Obama's victory in the West and in some of the eastern states too.
I was struck by that, of course. What we're calling this four-legged chair. I mean, he went from this three-legged stool of support to what Chuck Todd is calling this four-legged chair, essentially. It's African Americans, Hispanics, 18 to 29-year-olds, and then college-educated whites. People don't remember this, but whites don't vote for Democrats.
Exactly.
John Kerry lost the white vote by 17 points. In this election, Barack Obama only lost the white vote by 12 points. He improved for the Democrats.
Over Kerry. That's amazing. And it's the college-educated whites, as you say, and that is a shift from when I was a kid, when college-educated whites were Republicans and it was working-class whites who were more Democrats. And again, that's trouble for the Republican Party, and it's a signal that the kind of anti-intellectual, anti-elitist, if you will, strain of the Republican Party, which Sarah Palin came to exemplify, is in the long term maybe not a winning strategy for them. Maybe they're going to have to broaden that. I don't see how they win without Latinos, without college-educated whites. You can't write off these groups and expect to be a national party.
It's a great point why you hear these Republicans now talking about they are going to be getting together in salons, in living rooms, trying to talk about rebuilding the grand old party. Eugene Robinson, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you.